Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I created this smoke vanishing effect in After Effects. It's actually quite simple. There's just some techniques that you can use to blend it and make it look more seamless. I'm going to give a shout outs to Brandon Beaton, Bravo VFX as he's known online. Check out his stuff. Incredible visual effects artist. Taught me a lot of what I know. And yeah, we're just going to get straight into it. So we separated into two shots, the second one being the clean plate, and then the first one we actually rotoscoped out Steven. And to get it cleaner, because we're shooting it in log on the iPhone, we added a levels effect and just crushed the blacks and pulled back the highlights, added some contrast, and this made it easier for the program to actually find the edges on him when we were creating the rotoscope. So that's a little tip and trick for people that are shooting in log. You should start doing that. It's a lot easier to get a clean rotoscope on your layer, and then you could just delete the effect after. And because there was movement in this shot, because it was shot handheld, it was just a little bit, but enough for me to be like, it's not going to look good if the rotoscope layer is sitting on the layer and not moving with it. We actually created a null, and then we did a track for it in the background, just pasted that data on the null, and then we parented that rotoscope layer to it so that we can make sure that it's more embedded in the scene. And if there's any movements, then the rotoscope layer would move with it. And I just scaled it up a tad bit just to make sure if the edges moved at all, then the rotoscope would sit inside of it without leaving the frame. Now after we're done that, we pre-comped the rotoscope layer with the track data, and when we got inside of there, we created a black solid and added a fractal noise effect to it. Then we went to the effects and we actually adjusted a bit of the contrast, the size of it. We added an expression to animate the evolution of it also, and then we used it as a luma mat for the rotoscope layer, and then keyframed the brightness so that it can make it look like it seamlessly disappears. This is just a cool trick that, like I said, Brandon actually showed me, and it makes it look more seamless. Just adding a few more effects on top of that to make it look like it fades naturally more into the smoke. But this is a really cool technique that Brandon showed me, and I think it's something that you guys should be incorporating into other stuff that you do too. Now going back into the main comp, we actually put a mask on the rotoscope layer and then inverted it. We changed the feather values, and then we put a keyframe on the expansion, actually closing the mask completely, and then animated it so that when the smoke was coming up, it went vertically and made it look more seamless as the smoke comes to make him disappear into the scene. This can be done a couple of ways, but this is just another cool way to help blend it a little better into the scene. Then we added a turbulent displacement effect, and we turned up the amount, the size of it, and the complexity to the max. And then we added a keyframe for the amount and the size, and then just animated it to evolve as the time went through to add some more distortion to the image as it was starting to fade away before we put the next effects on. Then we added a fast box blur to it also, and then we keyframed the blur radius and animated that also going through time to make it fade more seamlessly into the scene. Then we actually added a tint effect too. The reason I did this is because you want the color to change with the scene, and that's another layer that's going to make it look more seamless as it goes through. So as you can see, stacking these effects will make it look gradually like it's fading more seamlessly into the smoke as it's going up. Now for the energy assets where the smoke was that made it look like he's fading away, we used the quick burst energy assets from Filmmaking, and we just adjusted the timing, the positioning, and the scale of them to fit what I thought would look good for the blending to happen when the effect took place. We pre-comped this all together, and then we added a black solid inside that pre-comp to fill out the alpha space so that when we were starting to add effects after, it would blend a bit more. And you can change things like opacity and keyframing, the speed of it, or whatever you need to. But this is just different depending on what assets you're using, how many of them you're doing, and what you're trying to achieve. So that's how we did this part. To create a displacement map, we just duplicated that energy pre-comp, and then we disabled it. And then when we added the displacement map on the rotoscope layer, we used that layer as a displacement for his rotoscope layer to start blending and fading away into the background as the smoke was rising. When you're doing this with the displacement map effect, make sure to keyframe the vertical displacement, and then you'll figure out the spot where it works best as that mask is going upwards to help make it look like the subject is fading into the smoke more seamlessly. To blend the smoke a bit better, we used the fast box blur and turned up the value a tad bit because it was a little bit too sharp for the footage. Then we went to the alpha channel on the curves and we adjusted that to match the highlights to the log footage inside the scene. And then we added a glow to it. You could do this with the native glow, deep glow, or you can use the optical glow effects by Red Giant, whatever one works for you, and just adjust the values till you find something that works for you. We also use the color vibrance effect, or you could just use the curves to adjust the colors inside of it. And from here, it was really just a matter of color grading and adding different things to it to blend the scene more together. I think this is the part where you really make things come together. And that's how we created this effect in After Effects. If you guys like what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, share, comment down below, let me know what you think, if there's anything else that you guys want to see, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good day and keep creating. Peace.